Welcome to the Ecommerce Marketing Podcast, the highly rated digital marketing podcast that provides weekly digital marketing tips and strategies from some of the world's top digital marketers and e-commerce entrepreneurs that will help you take your digital marketing to the next level. Sit back and enjoy this power-packed episode hosted by Arlen Robinson, who is an e-commerce entrepreneur and digital marketing expert with over 20 years of experience. Hey, e-commerce marketing podcast listener. Are you looking to increase traffic and sales to your website? You can do this by launching your own affiliate program. Just visit getosi.com and sign up for a free trial today. That's getosi.com. Now get ready to hear from your e-commerce marketing expert of the week as they drill down to give you details on marketing strategies that can help grow your business.
Welcome back to the E-commerce Marketing Podcast, everyone. My name is Arlen and I am your host. And today I'm excited to talk to our guest of the week, Josh Ledgard, who is the founder of kickofflabs.com, an audience growth platform that focuses on lightweight referrals and viral giveaways. Welcome to the podcast, Josh.
Thanks for having me, Arlen. It's great to be here.
Yeah, and thank you for joining us. I'm really excited to talk to you today. We're going to be talking about, I think, things that are kind of right in your wheelhouse, which is, marketing and promotions, and particular strategy by using, giveaways as a way to not only, fill your funnel, but to drive sales and traffic and really turn, fans of a brand into influencers. So we're going to be kind of covering those subjects because those are the things that you're dealing with on a day-to-day basis at Kickoff Labs. Before we do get into all of that, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and how you got into what you're doing today?
Yeah, so my background is primarily in technology. I graduated as a computer engineer, and I went to go work at big tech after college. So I worked at Microsoft, and I was working in the Visual Studio, so the most technical of the technical products at Microsoft, the tools used, the developer tools that developers use to create other platforms, right?
Yep.
So you don't get any more technical, you don't get any less marketing focused than that.
Right.
But one of the things I realized, because I worked in the testing organization, was the more I engaged with customers, the better off I was as a tester to be able to report bugs that would get fixed, right? And so I saw the power of that customer connection. Mm-hmm. And so slowly my career at Microsoft shifted towards pushing everyone else to engage with the audience of customers so that they could become better developers, better testers, and pushing inside the corporate world of get engaged with your audience. You'll become better at your job if you talk to our customers, as opposed to just sitting in your silo and just blindly implementing whatever spec a PM hands you. And I got really into that. And I got really into the power of connecting with an audience and engaging with the audience. And at the time, around 2007 or so, Microsoft was not really that interested in building something out as a product that did customer connections and engagement. So I went around, I talked to SharePoint at the time, and just like, oh, no, we're just companies talking to themselves. We're not companies talking to customers. We're not, that's not our business. And nobody wanted to do it. So I left and joined a smaller company that called Telligent that was doing customer forums, blogs, wikis, that a lot of big companies were using. And we had, in fact, been using them at Microsoft. That's how I got to know the founder. We'd been using them to talk to our customers, right? And I ran their product development team for a few years and got to know a lot more about customer communities, customer engagement, marketing tactics, sales tactics. And so ultimately I knew I wanted to start my own business. And so when it came down to it, I knew I wanted to start it in that audience engagement space and the power of the engagement can have to not only on, I had been so focused on making, the customer experience better, but making the product better, but also could audience engagement, and well, because running an affiliate software, can audience engagement with affiliates, but any type of engagement actually help with sales more directly and marketing. Mm-hmm. And could marketing be better than just throwing Google ads at a product page and hoping people go to the product page and buy the product? Can you do better than that with marketing to get and with that customer connection? So that formed the genesis of Kickoff Labs. We literally started out Kickoff Labs as myself and a co-founder as just a way to capture leads that were interested in an idea. So it really was like kickoff labs at first. That wasn't the ultimate like vision that I had, but like it was literally like, could we take an idea? Could we take 5 ideas, put up landing pages, see what people got most engaged with? And the way we were measuring the engagement was the idea that you put up a landing page for good enough that someone would refer a friend to sign up? Because if you didn't have a product yet and you wanted to know, like, could this product be successful? You didn't want to put up a buy button and buy an advance button necessarily, because that would block too many people. But the other metric isn't just would people put an email address in, but do people understand the idea enough that they would share with other people, similar to, like you said, with the affiliate. So we had that referral tracking piece of it, measuring that side of the engagement early on. And that became a really successful product. And similar to you and I were talking beforehand about how you, had the 5 different businesses and you were kind of following the, I heard you say you were following the customer growth and the money that was coming in. You're like, let's focus on this one that's growing. Let's focus on that.
Yep.
And so over time, that referral piece, we started seeing customers in the first couple of years ask us like, hey, like, this isn't just about like launching something. Like, can I put up a page and score people by their referrals and run it as a giveaway where they get more entries per the score? Literally, like, customer ideas coming to us saying like, we want to do this. In fact, here's a campaign that I set up with your product. And they're like twisting the product at the time in ways it really wasn't meant to do. But they're like, this worked really well. We got a few thousand leads this way running this type of contest. Can you help us by adding some features to the product that make this a better experience for us? And so, we found that a bunch of our customers were doing that. We're following this person's approach. And so we started slowly adding more contest features, the actions, the lead scoring, making that an official part of the platform, the fraud detection, because that comes in with like contests a lot. And we just slowly started building out this giveaway platform that attracted customers and created the audience engagement that we were hoping to give businesses. So that kind of like get engaged, like with this exciting promotion, like everybody wants to like win something, but like, will they engage with your product? Will they like, help you promote it? And what we see is probably similar to what you see on affiliates is that, you can obviously get leads coming in with a promotion, but that referral piece of the contest generates an additional 30 to 40% more entries in the really well-performing contest. More than half of the entries will come from the referral mechanism in a giveaway because they want that extra entry for the giveaway. Yeah. I think I'm overlapping a little bit in your next questions, but that's kind of the basic background how we got to where we are today. Taking 20 years into a couple minutes.
Right. Yeah. I know the feeling. How do you condense all of that into a few minutes, a 20-year time span of, I'm sure a lot happened during that kind of got you to where you are today. But yeah,
it sounds so simple.
Yeah, exactly. It sounds so simple, but when you're going through it and you look back, yeah, there's a lot of, trials and tribulations I can imagine. But yeah, thanks you for sharing that. And it sounds like you guys were kind of right on the pulse of when social media was really kind of taking off and, exploding, because businesses and e-commerce businesses specifically were looking to take advantage of these different channels, these social media channels. And, the whole goal with social media is not only to have a presence there but to foster engagement with your current customers and existing customers, because that's really what really it's all about. That engagement is where the trust factor comes into play with brands. They're able
Absolutely.
to, almost treat these customers, and these customers treat them almost like their friends, so to speak. And so I think, doing things like what you guys are doing, giveaways is one of those things that can just really help strengthen the bond between the brand and the consumer and create more of a kind of a laid back relationship rather than just, a business here at the top, looking down, selling these products to the end customers. Where,
exactly.
You're kind of more on their team, so to speak, and you're trying to make things fun and keep things interesting. So
exactly.
Yeah, good. It's good to know that you guys are really on top of all of that, which does definitely lead me to my first question, is with regards to giveaways. How really can that be a powerful tool for growing your audience and comparing that, because you spoke to it and we kind of already see how effective it is, but how do you compare that to just the traditional marketing methods, such as just ads on these social platforms?
Yeah, so I would classify today like the traditional marketing methods being like ads driving people to your site.
Yep.
When people come to the site, if you think about the site as like a store or a storefront, you often have like that entry gate that'll pop up that says like, "Hey, join our newsletter, get 10% off." And everybody does like something similar, whether it's free shipping or 10% off. Like there's that's sort of like this common piece, but that's not really very exciting for people to come in and say like, oh, 10% off. Cause like I said, everybody does that. And like, I don't know about you, but like, even though I'm in the space, like, I'm just like, how fast can I click dismiss? Cause like, exactly. I may have clicked your ad because I'm interested in the product, or I may have followed a link to your product page because I'm interested, but I'm here to read about your product right now. Like popping this up, like is not necessarily what I'm interested in. So it doesn't get people's attention enough. Right. But if you have something that's on the sidebar embedded, or you're promoting specifically not just the product, but you promote a giveaway to the product, the giveaway is a chance to educate people about the product. So they can, because you have like a prize description area and a giveaway. So you're saying like, hey, here's one of our products. You could win this in our next giveaway. And here's the description of it. So it's just a better incentive for getting people that come to your site to join your newsletter, because it's more than like a 10% off. It has a higher value potential to people, and people are more excited about that kind of outcome than they are about like, oh, just give me 10% off, because they're not even sure they're going to buy. But they might be interested in the future, in which case, because a lot of people will come and it takes, 7 interactions to get people to buy. Right. So one of our goals is like, can we generate a bunch of those interactions along the way for you? Right. So that entering a giveaway becomes multiple interaction and touch points with the customer that might ultimately buy. So that's one, is it gives people a higher percentage for signing up for your newsletter list that come to your site cold. Yeah. 2, for your existing customers. So most people already have an existing email list. And, people are sending updates like, here's a new product, here's like this other thing. There's a couple ways you can use our tool to get the list on your newsletter more engaged. So one, when you've got a new product coming, we do like product buzz building, product launch campaigns, which might be a giveaway as a product launch where people are enter a wait list and they move up the wait list as they're going, right? And so if you're doing that, how do they move up the wait list? Well, they move up the wait list by referring their friends, or by taking other social actions like tagging you on Instagram, or like liking a post you've got on Facebook. And so they're creating those additional social interactions that are helping grow your overall audience, which gets you a better outcome than, say, what traditionally people do is they'll send out a mail saying like, if they're even thinking about the launch, they'll send out a mail saying, in 2 weeks, we're launching a product. And then in 2 weeks, they'll send out a mail saying, it's for sale, buy it. And then 2 weeks after that, they'll say, why didn't anybody buy it? Come back. There's a discount. Yeah. Right. And like the build buzz strategy is like, no. In 2 weeks, we're building a product. There's limited supply. You want to be in the first 200 to get this thing and have an opportunity to buy. Here's how you get there. You join the wait list, you refer friends, you move up the wait list, you take these actions, you move up higher. You're building that engagement and the touch point to help build the marketing buzz around that new product beyond the email you were sending. Right. So you're not just sending the email, you're building that buzz outside of the email. You're getting people on your newsletter list to refer other people. And then you're getting the benefit of all that social engagement online. It's growing your audience, your Facebook audience, your Instagram audience, your TikTok audience, wherever your audience is that you're primarily working with on social. You're growing your brand in those locations as well as part of the effort. So that's the other way it helps, is it's not just increasing that initial conversion for people. If you're running maybe a basic giveaway, you can do like a product launch with a giveaway, or you can take that same strategy and say, hey, this quarter, for Black Friday, we're doing a sale, but we're also giving away, $2,000 worth of goods from our store as a gift card, right? And you can spend, and here's what you could buy with your $2,000. And oh, by the way, if you refer a friend, you're each going to win. So we're giving it away twice. So there's incentive for you to refer the friend beyond just like you get an extra entry. You get an extra entry, your friend gets an entry. And if your friend wins, then you'll win, right? So you can think about that as like, a way to do the additional audience building. So again, it's taking your existing audience. Maybe you've got 10,000 people, and we see this all the time. Maybe you've got 10,000 people. Maybe you've got 1,000 people on your newsletter list, and getting them engaged to take that 1,000 and turning it into 2,000, taking the 10,000, turning it to 20,000 because they're referring these people online as part of your contest. And then the next time you do a product launch, now you've got 20,000 people to launch with, right? that you're starting with. And it just becomes a cycle where you're using these tools to grow your audience, to grow your list over time, so that when you do send out your sales promotion mails, because I'm not advocating people stop sending out a promotional mails. I'm not saying you should stop that. Our product and similar products would advocate saying, mix it in with some engagement opportunities along the way, and that could be, even just as simple as people do today is like, hey, here's a Facebook post, go comment on our Facebook post about this, like create these engagement opportunities. But here's some engagement opportunities with some excitement and some fun along the way. And that's how we really focus on growing existing audiences at a business.
Sure. Yeah, I can totally see. I mean, just looking at that, it's really clear how these types of giveaways can drum up the engagement, and how more effective it is than just, like you said, the blanket initial, 10% off pop-up that, all of these sites do when you go to their site for the first time, the 10%, 20% off. It's like you said, it's always like, I know it's for me, just like it was for you. It's a race to see how quickly you can close that out. No matter, I mean, it could almost be a 80% discount. I'm still going to probably close it out because if that's my first time at the site, I don't even know if I'm going to purchase. I mean, they could almost give it to me for free, basically. And I still need to find out a little bit about the product before I, get that coupon. So that's how you can see there's really a big difference when you're building this engagement over time. You're kind of setting up the buzz, and then you're giving the customers, these potential customers, all of these other ways where they can, earn more. And then during that process, like you said, you don't give up the regular promotional or informational emails. You're still going to educate them along the way.
And some of the best campaigns that we see run do a mix of both. So like they might be running a giveaway, and they'll say, hey, there's 1 week left to win this. Hey, fun fact, here's a video about our product, right? And so you can earn a point by watching this video about the product, and you mix in that education so that you're creating that additional touch point. So the person who might have been like, I'm not sure if this solves my problem, maybe they see that video because they're part of the contest, and they're like, oh yeah, this will solve my problem. If I don't win, then I'm gonna go buy this, or maybe I'll just buy it, and if I win one, then I'll have an extra, depending on the type of product it is, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, one of the things that you mentioned earlier on is one of your guys' strategies is not only tying in the giveaway, of course, into the mix of this opt-in, but also tying in the referral aspect of it, where you're incentivizing them to refer others and become an advocate or almost an influencer of your brand. How do you really leverage that to engage them to be, brand influencers, if you will, in that whole process?
So the product does a couple of things that helps people kind of, I would call it like nurture the influencers, and turning people into maybe, from just like somebody who's on your newsletter list to like a micro influencer to maybe even like a bigger influencer. So there's a couple of things that happen that people do. One, because we're scoring the leads, somebody's score changes when they refer somebody, right? So then there's a series of emails that go out when you've referred 2 people, 3 people, 5 people. You can determine the frequency that it goes out, where you're just saying like, wow, congrats, you just referred your 3rd person. Like, here's some advice for, sharing more people or how to share more effectively. Right. So we kind of the emails nurture people along the way of that referral cycle, to both, because people share things online for a couple of reasons. One, they share things online to make themselves look cool, right? So it's like something that you found that you're like, hey, this is cool, check this out, right? So that might be a reason you share something online. Another reason you might share something online is because you're recognized for your activity. So like if I do something for a brand and I keep doing it, but nobody ever says thank you, or like shows that I did it, or I don't get anything for doing it, then I'm like, oh, I'm not being recognized, I'm not going to do it. But if you recognize that that share took place, that they referred somebody successfully, and you recognize it in some way, it encourages people to do it again, right? And then the last way is because you bribe them, right? So quite literally, another type of campaign we have is quite literally just like reward levels. Like once you get to 3 referrals, you get maybe a higher discount. Once you get to 10 referrals, maybe you get a free add-on when you check out at the product, at the product, right? And so you're encouraging people along the way with these reward levels. Whether or not they have set rewards associated with them or they're just recognition as part of a contest, you're nurturing the referrals along the way, giving them some extra information to share. And then some of our better contests will do things like, if it's a bigger brand, they might already have like not just their normal Facebook group, but like a VIP channel for like, really like more special customers or like influencers in the space, where it might be, instead of 10,000 people, you've got this influencer list of 200. When they get to 3 shares, they'll invite people into that VIP channel, right? And so they'll say, now, hey, you got access to this VIP channel. Here's some more information about our brand. Here's how you can connect more to us directly as a business. Here's how you can talk to, and our product doesn't do that. We don't manage those channels. Some people do them. Like I recommend like private Facebook group, private Slack or Discord, just whatever the brand is most comfortable with using to communicate with the customers. If they're doing it already, just use that location, and you start inviting those people in. So they become part of sort of your insider list, your VIP list, whatever you want to have it. And over time, you'll see that some of those people, maybe they only shared 3 or 4 times. They might not share again, but it's still worth having the connection with them. Over time, some of those people become regular influencers that anytime you have an announcement, they're then like, oh, maybe I'll share this one with my friends because I like this brand. And so it's a way of identifying people through the lead scoring that we do of who's the most engaged with the brand. And then you siphon off those people who've become most engaged into your private communication channel. And from that private communication channel, you're nurturing the relationship and converting them into your army of influencers out there, helping promote the product. Maybe those people get access to your affiliate link through your OSI affiliate software, right? So maybe other people don't have access to it, but once they've done this lightweight referrals generation, it's like, hey, we want to reward you. You can become a brand advocate. You can become part of our affiliate program. In this way, that might be one of the rewards that gets people to do it. And we see people doing that promotion as well. And then lastly, we just see like people just end up finding additional influencers they hadn't met online. Like I've got stories all the time of a brand will run a promotion and they'll tell me like, hey, we had one guy got like, 1,000 entries. And I'm like, how do you get 1,000 entries? He's like, well, it turns out he runs like a really popular YouTube channel and we didn't even know he existed in our space, but like he's got our audience on his YouTube channel. So now we're connected with him. And they found that connection because they ran the initial giveaway. This guy wasn't promoting them really, but then was encouraged by the giveaway to start promoting them. And then they were able to recognize, oh, this person existed, pull them into a private relationship and say, now, hey, why don't you just become an affiliate for us and you can promote us all the time, right? And hand it off to the other piece of software on the affiliate side, and get that person more connected and engaged.
Yeah, I can see that. Now, looking at the whole process of these campaigns, it seems like there's a lot of things happening. There's a lot of touch points, a lot more engagement than just the regular, promotional emails where you're just asking for, click-throughs. You may be measuring where people are going, what areas of the site people are going to. And then, of course, ultimately, if they're going to purchase, that's, of course, the major metric. And that's kind of the bottom line to most of these campaigns. But aside from the bottom line metric of the conversions, with these giveaways, what other metrics should businesses focus on to measure the success and impact of these campaigns?
Yeah. So a couple things that I tell people to look at is when it comes to the giveaways themselves, what is the conversion rate when somebody sees the opportunity to join the giveaway? So it's much like you might measure a conversion rate of people coming to your site and then joining your newsletter rate, but it's when people come to the giveaway, what percentage of them are opting into the giveaway, right? That's like the primary thing. Because if that's really low, if that's in most cases, if you have a page dedicated to a giveaway, and you're sending traffic to it, you're seeding the traffic to it, whether it's like ads or your existing newsletter list. And the opt-in rate is less than, 10%, then like the rest of the metrics I'm about to say don't really matter, right? Focus on like making the giveaway something that's appealing to your audience so that that initial opt-in is like more like 20 to 30%. Once you have the initial conversion rate down and you're thinking about it like a funnel, the next thing you want people to do in the giveaway is to take that lightweight engagement with the action. So what percentage of leads are taking at least one additional action? They're earning themselves one additional point in there. And you want to see that being above 10%. So like of the people that joined, you've got, people taking these additional actions, and usually it's like a good 30 to 40% people are taking the initial actions. And then the referrals are kind of the highest value thing that you're after, right? The referral somebody you didn't have on your newsletter list, or you weren't advertising to directly. Did you get the referrals from it? And the referral rate, you're looking at what percentage of people are joining that were from the referral links. And, in a good contest, it's going to be 50%. And in a not as good contest, it might be like 20%. But you want somewhere in that 30 to 40% range of people opting into the giveaway coming from the referrals, from the referral part of the cycle. And in a healthy situation, where you're not just have like one influencer generating all these referrals, you have that spread out. So we measure the percentage of leads that successfully generated a referral. And you want that to be like, 3 to 10%, somewhere in there. You just don't want it to be like 1% of people generating the referrals. Because then that says like, oh, you might have a great influencer, but you're not really encouraging most people at a micro influencer level to share across the board. Right. And so those are the metrics. When we go in and somebody says like, can you tell us how our campaign's doing? Can you give us feedback? We look at those kind of core metrics. And then ultimately all of that adds up to, at the end, when you started, how large was your audience in these channels you were promoting, whether it's the newsletter, your Facebook channel, your Instagram channel? And when you ended, how large was your audience, right? If you had a specific action saying, follow us on Threads, when you ended, did you have more than you started with because you were encouraging people to follow you via the action, right? And so as a business, you have to, just like any other marketing effort, you have to set like, what are the KPIs that are important to me? So, for one campaign, we might do like ourselves, and we might focus the campaign on our YouTube channel and say our goal is to grow the YouTube channel with this campaign. We're not necessarily after the newsletter growth. We kind of want to take some of our newsletter people and get them also following us on YouTube so that they'll start promoting our YouTube videos, right? And so we'll run a campaign where our success metric isn't growth on the email, but it's like, did we get our YouTube followers up from 1,500 to 2,000, right? And so that has value to us as a business, because the more people obviously following us on YouTube, the more people are getting engaged and touching with us on that social channel, right? And so, I answered in a very general, like thinking about the conversion rate, the sharing rate, and everything. But as a specific business, I tell them, think about what's important for your business. Like, do you already know a lot of your sales come from Facebook? If so, maybe your goals for the campaign is to grow the Facebook audience and then a side of the newsletter side. Or most of your, sales come from your newsletter today. Like, okay, let's just focus on the newsletter growth aspect of the campaign and not worry as much about the social channels, right? So it's, and good companies will just rotate throughout the year. They might say like, what we do is we'll do like a YouTube promotion, then we'll do a newsletter promotion, then we'll just do something like a kind of a fun giveaway catch-all for anybody else.
Yeah, those are good to know. And it seems like, there are a lot of clear metrics outside of of course, the conversions, the bottom line conversions that you can easily track that, that definitely can make a difference. Like you said, the increase of followers on any of these social channels, that's a big deal. Definitely these days, because that's opening up your audience. Those are more people that, let's say we're looking at YouTube, those are more people that you can alert when you're posting anything. Let's say you're launching a new product, you got a little brief product video, those are more people you can notify about it. So all of those things, make a big difference. And so I think a brand shouldn't be so quick to pivot on these different contest campaigns if they're not seeing that, huge bump in their conversions, too early, because there's a lot of these other metrics that can make a big difference as as well. So you
Yeah,
always
like for
looking at it.
example, we ran a campaign for a company, and they were looking, and they added a post sign up action for the giveaway, saying like, earn 5 entries for adding your phone number. Their
Okay.
email list for the campaign didn't grow very much. They only added, maybe a few hundred people, or like a few small percentage points of their overall newsletter list.
Mhm.
But what ended up happening as part of that giveaway was more than 30% of their newsletter list added a phone number that they could then send text messages to, right? And it's just another way, and it's just another way for them to be able to reach out to an audience that maybe ignores an email, but they'll get the text now, right? And so
Right.
you have to think about that growth, not just in terms of like one metric, but like what are all the different channels, because everybody has their communication preferences. Like some people
Yep.
only want to deal with text, some people only want WhatsApp messages, some people only want emails, right? And so you want to provide that kind of multifaceted opportunity for people to engage in different locations.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Well, Josh, as we get ready to wrap things up, I wanted to see, based on your experience, what emerging trends do you foresee in this whole world of the viral giveaways, these contest giveaways, and audience engagement? And how should businesses prepare for any of these changes that are coming?
Yeah, I think I think it's hard to mention a trend right now without talking about artificial intelligence specifically.
For sure.
And so in terms of how that affects, the viral giveaways and everything, I think it becomes an opportunity for brands to have more unique experience. So like one of the things, that people struggle with is coming up with like an idea for a giveaway. Like, and so one of the things that our product can do is like, you give us your product description or point us at your website, and we'll come up with a giveaway idea for you and generate all the pieces of the giveaway, which is just the generation part of it. Which is step one of like that trend. I think step two becomes some of the things that we're working on is, could you have an engagement be a little bit more conversational, right? So imagine you talk to a chat bot that like at a store that says like, hey, today's challenge is like a hide and seek on the store, where you've got to like, you answer quiz questions, and you earn points in the giveaway for answering quiz questions about either yourself or the products on the store, and giving that information willingly to the chatbot that the business can then use and disseminate, rather than just having this like lengthy survey form, right? If you can get some of the information out conversationally out of people, and then just have the AI tag it and like collate it into a response that you might have gotten from a form, I think that's going to become a real thing in the next couple of years for businesses, is getting away from like, oh, let me just do this static customer survey, but integrating those survey questions over time into the experience in a smart way for the customer. Or maybe in this contest you're asking 2 or 3 things, in the next promotion you're asking 3 or 4 other things, but over time you're building a stronger persona of your customer based on the answers that you're collecting via the artificial chat agent on the site.
Yeah. I mean, I totally agree with you. It's hard to, when you're thinking of emerging trends, I mean, you almost can't leave AI out of it when you're talking about any emerging trends that have to do with the internet or software. It's always going to be part of the conversation. And,
for sure.
Those definitely sound like some great ways that I can see, as AI advances even more, how, I mean, it can almost take control of the whole contest process, not only from the generation of it, the ideas, because that also is a pretty big pain point. I've had other people on in the past, maybe several years ago, that we talked about doing quizzes via these pop-ups. And I remember back then, it was one of the things that we talked about is the pain point of creating these quizzes and all right, what questions do I ask, what's going to be engaging for my audience. Now all you have to do is go to a chat GPT, tell it a little bit about your business, your customer persona, and then have it come up with some really engaging quiz questions. And then you just have to look through and pick the best, and you can just continually have it switch things up. So even if you want to create a set that you use for 1 month, you can have it come up with a set for another month, and then do some A/B testing and see which works best. So,
and that's where I see like tools like ours moving forward, making that sort of dynamic engagement opportunity easier to create, where you're just doing it more frequently in a more dynamic way with customers. Because what we're going to see, I think, obviously, is like, SEO is still going to be important, but, it's so easy now to just generate, a bunch of 2,000 word articles on every single product that you've got to figure out. The engagement becomes even more important in that world, right? Like having a way to learn more about your customer, to figure out what niche you can solve for them, to get more connected with them becomes increasingly more important in my mind as a marketing channel. So, software like yours, I think, is well positioned, as is anything like us, where we're working on that engagement with customers, because I think that becomes the way you can stand out more as a business, is having that true customer connection.
Yeah, that's very true. Very well said. Well, Josh, it's been awesome talking to you. This is a great conversation. As you've said, I think you're right on the pulse of where companies need to be with these types of tools that are going to help foster, more engagement for the customers. That's really what's going to help some businesses stand out from others. I think, it's definitely worthwhile if a business is listening and watching this or listening to this, haven't really experienced doing any of this. I definitely recommend, trying these giveaways, these contests, and, seeing where it goes for sure. But lastly, as well, before we do let you go, I always like to switch gears just so our audience can get to know you a little bit better. If you don't mind sharing one closing fun fact about yourself that you think we'd be interested to know.
So I guess a closing fun fact, I still play baseball, not softball. So,
okay.
I'm a dying breed of a baseball fan. First of all, for the Red Sox, I grew up on the East Coast, but also just myself, I play between, 19 to 25 games every summer. And I'm a pitcher. And so I had all sorts of arm issues, but I'm feeling good even in my advancing age.
Okay, good stuff. And yeah, you're right. A lot of times, I don't play baseball or softball or anything like that, but I do always hear, as you're getting older, then transition to the softball because as far as like pitching, it's not as fast, it's not as intense as baseball. So yeah, good to know that you're hanging in there with it.
Exactly.
Yep. Well, good. Thank you for sharing that. Appreciate that. Lastly, before we do let you go, if you don't mind sharing the best way for our listeners and viewers to get in touch with you if they want to pick your brain any more about contests, giveaways, or anything that we talked about today.
Yeah. So publicly, I'm most engaged right now on Josh Ledgard on Threads. So the new Instagram text-based network Threads is Josh Ledgard. And then you can also send me an email at josh@kickofflabs.com. So people can shoot me an email that way if they want to connect as well.
Okay, great. Yeah, we'll definitely have the website link in our show notes, and I'll have your social handle as well, so people can get a hold of you that way. But again, thank you for joining us today, Josh, on the E-Commerce Marketing Podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. Have a great day.
All right, you too.
Thank you for listening to the E-Commerce Marketing Podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, be sure to rate, review, subscribe, and share it with everyone you know. Are you looking to take your digital marketing to the next level, but are tired of weeding through countless YouTube videos with unproven and untrusted marketing strategies? Well, we have the answer for you. The More Sales Every Month online digital marketing course. In this information-packed course, you will learn effective keyword research, link building, content marketing, and much more to attract and convert your site visitors into paying customers. Just go to moresaleseverymonth.com and sign up today for a low one-time fee. In addition to this power-packed course, if you would like to get access to a growing repository of digital marketing articles, PDFs, and ebooks, check out getosi.com/resources and opt in to get full access to our library of priceless marketing information to help you take your digital marketing to the next level.